we were in a rehearsal, and there was always a break. There's a little break or something, and I was mimicking him. And so he saw me. He says, "Frau Bumbry, was machen Sie?" I said, "Maestro, that's you. That's you mixing the salad."
Maestra Bumbry, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
What is your first anecdote you have in mind when I asking you about Herbert von Karajan?
I think, oh, how wonderful. Oh, how wonderful, because he was a great maestro.
Okay.
I'm just so sorry that I didn't get a chance to do more with him, but I very much loved his work, his musicianship, his love for music, and how he went about achieving what he did.
And how was the work with him? How was it to work with him?
During
the rehearsals?
Well, it was not easy. It was not easy, but at the same time, it was expected. You expect a grand maestro to be demanding, and that's what he was. And my job is to do what is asked of me.
Was he really detailed, or are you free to sing or to act how you want?
Well, I can only tell you from my point of view. It could be that with other singers he might have been different, but with my collaboration with him, it was sometimes rather fiery, because we had differences of opinion about. Okay. But about the tempi, nothing about the music, just the tempi.
Okay.
And I remember we had a bit of an argument about the seguedilla, and the habanero, the very beginning of the opera, and he wanted it very slow, and I didn't see the habanero in that same manner. I saw it in a somewhat faster tempo.
Yes.
And we had our differences of opinion on that. Sometimes a bit loud, but we got past it. And but he won in that one. But I won in the tempo for the card aria.
Okay.
He wanted that somewhat faster, and I wanted it slower. So, but he said, "But can you show me what you mean, what you want from this tempo?" Well, when I showed him, then he agreed to my tempo. That's why I always tell my students, you have to show me what you're talking about. If you are at odds with me about something, show me. Yeah. And it's all about how you convince the maestro.
Yes. And do I have to sing all with full voice during the rehearsals, or was there any chance to sing with half voice, or to relax a little bit in every rehearsal with him?
I don't think that a conductor insists that you sing full voice all the time. I don't think so. By the time I came to Maestro Karajan to work with him, I was already in my career. I wasn't a beginner.
Yeah.
So I did what was necessary for me. And he accepted that. But I mean, as far as singing full voice, I'd sing as I needed it. Because you have to remember that singers only have two vocal cords, where the orchestra is how many persons there, 99 or 100 persons there. Yes. And so you have to take care of yourself. And sometimes conductors who are not really sympathetic to the singer can be a bit difficult. Maestro, I think, was, as I recall, but don't forget, it's been many years ago, But as I recall, he was always understanding of the singers. But one thing I do remember, and that is that he would trick us.
Okay.
He would give us one tempo in the rehearsals, and in the performance, he would change the tempo.
Okay.
And I think it was done on purpose to make us be alive.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Making sure that you're alive, that you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's tricky.
Oh yes, and I remember that quite well. But by the arias and things like that, he didn't bother you. But in the ensembles, there's a sextet in Carmen,
Yes.
which was so difficult. Notre métier est bon, and it really had a very fast clip.
Okay.
And he always took it in the rehearsals quickly.
And in the show.
In the performance, he would slow it down. And he knew whether you were watching or not, because he could tell who was lagging behind or who was moving forward. And by the next rehearsal or by the next performance, you would get a little note.
From the Maestro.
Yeah.
So the movie was at 1967, and it was filmed in Salzburg on a stage.
Yes.
How was it with the movie? Was he more nervous during the filming, the setting?
Was he nervous?
A little bit. I don't know.
No, Maestro, I don't think so. No.
No.
Maestro was always in control. Always in control. I don't think being nervous is part of his character.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He was very strict.
Yeah, he was very disciplined.
Yeah.
And if you were to ask me what I think about Karajan as a characteristic of his, I would never say nervous.
But what you would say about his characteristic?
Disciplined, absolutely in control.
Yeah.
But when you watch him, when he's conducting, I don't mean in an opera, but in a symphonic piece of music, and he closes his eyes, you know he's concentrating. And you know he knows exactly what they're going to do. They've practiced it so many times.
Yeah.
They know what he wants. And he just goes into his interpretive manner at that point, which I think is just wonderful. I mean, for me, he reminded me always of how I saw Marian Anderson. And Marian Anderson was for us the #1 black singer. She was the #1 singer in America. She started her career. She started all of our careers. She was the pioneer. And she always sang with her eyes closed, which I never could understand. I said to my mother, why does she have her eyes closed? I need to see her face. She said, darling, I think she's concentrating. And I saw Karajan doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's all about concentration. I would imagine that too many people, too many of the musicians distract him. They've already rehearsed.
Lots of impressions.
He knows what he wants, and he gives it to them with his body, with his body language, his face, his facial expressions, and for me that's the sign of a great musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when was it your first time meeting him?
I met Maestro Karajan the first time in 1959. I came to Austria in Salzburg for a master class with Professor Eric Verba.
Yeah.
And I remember Maestro, wait, I'm getting past myself. I met Maestro Karajan in America, and he asked me, when I came to Europe in 2 years' time, would I come and audition for him?
Oh,
so I
great.
met him, I think it must have been in Philadelphia,
Okay.
in America. And those 2 years came, and I went to visit Salzburg for the master class, and he was there. And I made an appointment for an audition. And that's where I was so put off by his secretary, because his secretary just was very hooty. and made me wait and made me wait and made me wait. I left. I left. And then he came to get me. This guy came to get me, Andre von something. I've forgotten his last name now, Andre whatever. And he brought me back and made an appointment for another day. And then when I came the second time, I was let in immediately. And Maestro was very kind, very friendly, as if nothing ever happened. Now that's a great person. That's a great person. Yeah. And Maestro von Karajan.
But was it spontaneous in America you met him? Or how was the meeting?
Those things are never spontaneous. No, it was arranged. It was arranged.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know whether it was my teacher or whether it was my agent. I was at that time with an agency called Salzburg. And Salzburg was the #1 agent in the whole world.
Okay.
He had everybody who was an artist, great artist, dancers, singers, actors. They were under his thumb. And I believe it was from him that I got this introduction to Maestro Karajan. I was too young when I first met him. I was too young. The voice was not yet mature enough. But that's why he asked me to come to sing for him in 2 years' time. Yeah.
Right.
And well, evidently he liked me when I sang for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was his whole life. When he liked somebody, he really cared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would care for him. Yeah.
Well, you know, I had a very good beginning. I had a wonderful teacher at the very beginning. His name was Kenneth Billups from my hometown in St. Louis, who put my voice in the right place immediately. And then when I went off to study at Northwestern University, I met there Lotte Lehmann.
Oh,
And Lotte Lehmann was the reason why I went out to Santa Barbara, California, to study at the Music Academy. And I was just put into one set of hands, wonderful hands, to another set of wonderful hands. And then she passed me on to my new voice teacher, who was Armand Tokatyan. Those two teachers and Lotte Lehmann, I didn't need anything more. I was really very lucky. When I think about the singers today, I've had some students who come to me who have had 14 teachers.
Oh.
14 teachers. Well, you can imagine the frame of voice they're in.
Yeah.
And what
all
it
this
takes
information.
Huh?
All these informations they got.
And most of it wrong.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have been changing so much. Not just girls. There are also young men as well who have the same problems. And it's the matter of being put into the wrong situations, the wrong hands, the wrong background. You have to understand what the singing voice means. What do you do when you sing? It's not just making sounds. There's also text. There's also music. There's more than words and music. There's also signs that the composers has left there for you to use as a direction of how to go, how to find the way in which to interpret that piece of music. And but you got to have the technique ready first. You can't just sing. You got to have your technique in order. Yeah. Otherwise, you do your voice harm. And your voice harm, then you're not worth anything at all.
Yeah. And going back to the Maestro, was it hard to deal with his really detailed thoughts he wants to have, or he wanted to have?
No, not for me, because my nature is detailed. My nature is a very disciplined one. I like for things to have their order. I'm a Capricorn. Steinbock.
Oh, that's right.
So for me, that was perfectly all right. The more information you give me, the better it is. And but one thing I remember that he said, and I pass it on all the time, is that every note has its right to be heard. Every note. Because a lot of times singers, you sort of run past in a cadenza, for instance. Sometimes you don't sing all the notes. No, you have to sing all the notes. And not only in cadenzas, but sometimes they are very just sort of sloppy and don't sing the end of a phrase, or they will hold it too long, taking some of the emphasis away from the orchestra or the piano. If you hold a note too long, the phrase that comes afterwards that is supposed to be there to accompany you is not being heard.
Yes.
No, the more detail you give me, the better I am.
So you're very good with him.
Yeah.
And the rehearsal, because he did also the staging of the Carmen, the opera, right? And how was it to talk with him when he was showing you how to act or how to be on stage? Was it the same how he was telling you to sing or to making the music?
Well, no, because he could not go into depth in the roles.
Yeah.
What would he know about the in depth of a Carmen? But what he did do is he would give you his insight into the musical side of Carmen. Like, for instance, we were discussing the habanera and why did he want it so slowly? And we said, well, I like it this way because I'm looking at it from the point of view of Bizet. And I said, well, I'm looking at it from the point of view of Mérimée. Mérimée is the one who wrote the story, and I'm taking it from that point of view. And so but of course, as with him being the conductor for an opera, but I was singing, and I wasn't acting. I was hired to sing, so I had to take his advice.
Yeah.
And now after I have seen the opera, the film, I can understand what he meant. That this slow habanera is very seductive. It can be very seductive. Whereas a normal habanera is not that tempo.
It's
Habanera is faster than that. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, it was a very legend maestro.
Yes. For me, I think he was the best. He was the best. Nice. Yeah. I mean, there were other maestri who were wonderful and great. Like we have now. We still have Riccardo Muti. We still have also Chailly. We have now this young Dudamel. We have I can't think of. We have this wonderful Scapucci. This young lady, who's and she I think is going to be dynamite. I think she's going to be absolutely dynamite. I saw her conducting twice, and I think she's pretty much on that same order as von Karajan. Very fiery, very involved with the music, very involved with her musicians, and this is what I think is the sign of a great maestro, because you have to have a rapport. If you don't have a rapport with your musicians and your singers, you might as well not even be there.
Yeah, that's true. And your personal relationship to Karajan, was it a very good one, or just for the work?
That's all.
Yeah.
I had nothing else with Maestro except
not just for friends or meeting him for a coffee or.
Not that I can recall.
No.
No. I mean, maybe we did, but I don't recall it. No.
Just like it.
I remember once we had. Yes. I remember once I met him in the period of the Carmen rehearsals. We met on the Autobahn. I had parked my car. I was doing a reportage for some magazine, I don't know. I had a Lamborghini. And, you know, Maestro was very much a car fanatic. Anything that has a motor, he was a fanatic about it. And my car had just been brought maybe a day or two before. And we didn't have a rehearsal for 3 days. And then he saw me on the Autobahn, stopped his car, I think it was a Porsche or a Ferrari he was driving. And he stopped his on that side of the Autobahn, walked across the highway, which is foreboding.
Yes.
But he wanted to get a look at that car up close. So I said, okay, Maestro, of course, get inside and just take a good look. So he got in and he adjusted this and he adjusted that. And I said, well, drive it off, drive it. I can? Yes, of course, as long as you bring it back. So he did. He came back and he says, this is really eine Machina, das ist eine Maschine. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He loved cars.
Yes. Once we were in a rehearsal, and you know, and there was always a break. There's a little break or something, and I was mimicking him. And so he saw me. He says, "Frau Bumbry, was machen Sie?" I said, "Maestro, that's you. That's you mixing the salad." And he just laughed.
That's nice.
He just laughed, and that was it. But I had to tell you that story. Mixing the salad.
Yes, he was doing like it.
One other thing, and that was that the Maestro had asked me, strangely enough, if I would sing Donna Anna.
Oh, oops.
Yeah. And I said, well, I'll look at it first, as usual. So I came back to him and I said, Maestro, I'm afraid I cannot do this. He says, why not? And I said, well, because I have not yet become a soprano. I'm still singing as mezzo. Yeah, but I heard you singing Lady Macbeth at the Felsenreitschule.
Yes.
And I said, yeah, but Maestro, that's Verdi. Verdi, I mean, that's Verdi coloratura. That's not Mozart coloratura. Yeah, but with me, you can do anything. And I thought, okay, that's all nice and good that you think so, but I don't know. I have not yet decided that I'm a soprano or not. And once I decide that, then perhaps we can talk about it. But I think that he thought that I didn't want to work with him because we had these couple of arguments during the Carmen rehearsals, and my mind is that he took it to heart that I didn't want to work with him.
Okay.
But that was a big mistake. I asked Maestro Böhm, I asked Maestro Schulte, and it was after after his offer that I received the offer for the Salome with Maestro Schulte. And I asked the Böhm and Schulte, what did they think about this, about Donna Anna? I remember Böhm saying, Miss Bumbry, Frau Bumbry, Sie sind noch jung, Ihre Stimme hat so viele Möglichkeiten. Your voice has so many possibilities. Maybe the Maestro is right, but you know, I have to be responsible for that.
Yes,
I'm the singer. I'm the one who's got to take responsibility.
Sure.
And so I just stayed with my first decision, and I think that was why he didn't work with me anymore. I really think I did. He thought I didn't want to because of that fight we had about the Carmen. I dared offer my own opinion about something. No, but maybe I'm being too small about that because otherwise he would not have asked me to sing. If he would, something like Donna Anna is an important role.
It's a big role, yeah.
But whatever the case, I had the impression that he had become annoyed, and I lost that possibility.
No.
I lost that possibility, but that's why. But one needs to tell the young singers also, when you take a decision, you have to stay with it, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
You take that decision and you go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm sorry about Maestro.
But you did a great work with him in the Carmen production.
Yes.
But was it your first production with him, or your first music opera?
That's all I've ever done with
That's
him.
all?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's big enough.
It's big enough. We were there more than 6 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
But the thing about that work is that it was in depth.
Yeah.
I mean, you're working with a great maestro for that length of time on text, on music, on interpretation, also on staging.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what more can you ask for?
So thank you so much for being here, for talking all these nice, or for sharing these nice stories with us.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.